Hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily News Show, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. That's that site right there. Today is June 13th, 2024. It's season 3, episode 167. I am in my time machine. The sentient AI is not available to do today's show. They're working on something huge. Actually, I don't know what they do, but today we're going to be talking about no walks for you, government building water contamination, dealerships had to pay to sell EVs, I had no idea, a new distress signal, who dis, just move right into Mars hole, sorry Spain's full, you go here instead, a Lexus with a pizza oven in it, sand shortage, let's send Methany in a beer bottle, and two more. It was the renter who did it, and let's be blunt about this. That and more, maybe less, I'm not sure. Today is a time machine episode. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. I'm just going to jump into this. Very first article is over in the Mobile channel. NASA cancels spacewalk at ISS over spacesuit discomfort issue. The spacewalk scheduled for 2 astronauts outside the ISS was canceled by NASA about an hour before it was to begin on Thursday morning. I find it weird that they find out that there's a spacesuit that's discomfortable. Was everything tested right before it actually launched? I don't know. Roger Simmons over at Orlando Sentinel is where this is sourced from, but it was posted at phys.org. So the spacewalk today, June 13th, at the International Space Station did not proceed as scheduled due to a spacesuit discomfort issue. No other details were immediately given. The spacesuit, well, who knows? It could have been indigestion, for crying out loud, or the suit was too warm, or who knows? We'll find out, I guess, tomorrow and over the weekend when people start talking about this kind of thing. But in the time machine, I only know so much. Dyson and Dominic's spacewalk was supposed to include station maintenance and science work. In announcing the spacewalk, NASA said 2 astronauts would remove some communications equipment from one of the ISS laboratory modules with assistance from a robotic arm on the station. Is that the Canadarm? Canadarm? Is that what's out there? Dyson and Dominic were also going to swab surfaces on the ISS to determine if microorganisms released through station vents can survive the external microgravity. This is how you end up with COVID 2029, I suppose. We'll see. This is neat. It's a great view of Earth. Pretty awesome. Okay, let's keep going though. We're gonna do, oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh no, let's do this. Let me do this live. Everything else is done live here. Let's do this live here. I'm gonna throw this into the bot so that everybody gets access to today's show notes. And if you want to find out about those show notes, almost, hold on one second. You can do it too by typing in !ODNS, right? Oh, today is 165, so let me back up a bit. Okay, dunk and dunk. Okay, so I don't edit anything, so this is all going to stay in the VOD and in the YouTube video and even in the podcast. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry, not sorry. I don't like to edit things because I want complete transparency. You know, if I flub something, then I flub something. Anyway, so if you type in !show notes, you'll get a list of all of the commands, but they're in the title as well. So !ODNS will pull up all of today's articles, maybe in the order they're supposed to be. No, backwards. And kind of crazily, actually. Weird. I need to talk to the bot. I thought I was going to get it done yesterday, but it didn't work out. Anyway, let's keep on going. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Drinking water contamination closes government building. Legionnaire's disease is a type of severe pneumonia that can prove fatal for approximately 10% of people that are infected. Not quite sure why it says Las Vegas hotels investigated over Legionnaire's disease, but this article isn't about that, I don't think. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, headquartered in Baltimore, has closed its doors after Legionella, a bacteria with potentially fatal consequences, was found in the building's water supply. Not quite sure how that happened. According to the CDC, there's been a rise in Legionnaire's disease reports since 2001. Duke University, Caesar's Palace. CMS said officials said that there were no employees that had been harmed by the bacteria, which can cause Legionnaire's disease if inhaled or aspirated. The bacteria was discovered during routine plumbing tests, according to the Washington Post, and Newsweek reached out to CMS through online contacts form. Who knows if they've got a response in the last 24 hours, because this article, we're in the time machine, so it's from the previous 24 hours. So symptoms usually present themselves within 2 to 14 days after exposure to the bacteria, but they can sometimes take longer. I guess it's flu-like symptoms, but it can be much worse if you are immunocompromised or old or young. Depending on your age, it can actually cause greater problems. Certain factors contribute to the growth of Legionella in water systems, such as the presence of biofilm, warm water, not enough disinfectant, and stagnant water. In addition to water systems, the bacteria can also be found in hot tubs and water heaters, shower heads, decorative fountains, and large plumbing systems. Anywhere, really, water can stagnate. If some bacteria gets into it, it can turn into something that can contaminate you. And that's never a good thing. All right, let's keep going, though. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Ford will no longer require dealers to invest $500,000 or more. It says $500,000 to $1 million just to sell EVs. Ford says that it's ending its controversial program that requires dealers to invest between $500,000 and $1 million to sell EVs. EVs are now open to all Ford dealers without certification requirements. The change comes after Ford overestimated EV sales growth. Yeah, talk about pump and dump. Yeah, there are other markets that have fast swap battery tech, and I think that's going to be coming to the US to wipe out these EV charging monstrosities that take up a ton of space, and it's just, they're all just bullshit. The amount of waste and perma infrastructure is tremendous. The amount of copper in the ground is horrendous, and it's permanent. Blacktop or cement, you'd have to spend just gobs of money to reverse engineer charging stations that are just stupid. So anyway, hybrid, you need to go hybrid, and you have to go fast swap batteries. Those are the only two technologies that are going to get EV adoption. And really, EVs are really dumb because there are almost zero protections. There's minimal protections against things like coronal mass ejections that disrupt the magnetic field of the Earth and can mess up the electronics on your EV. We haven't experienced anything like it since basically the last CME event just maybe a month ago. But that was not really that big of a deal compared to what could happen in the future. And just imagine all these cars just DOA. Anyway, and I know I'm simplifying something that can affect every vehicle because every vehicle has electronics, but all of these charging systems are infrastructure that if everybody converts to just the charging systems, You have to sit for hours to charge a vehicle. Millions of people sitting around for hours charging a system. It's stupid. Anyway, and that has nothing to do with this. They overestimated. Other than that, that's it. So Ford is already backing away from EVs. They're going to end up going hybrid. Other manufacturers are going hybrid. The Blue Oval is ending its controversial EV dealership program less than 2 years after it was announced. Ford Chief Operating Officer Marin, Gaja, told reporters on Thursday. The article's over at Business Insider by Nora Naughton. And the Mustang Mach-E is just I guess I'm old school. I think it's an abomination of a vehicle. But anyway, so the change comes after Ford overestimated EV sales growth. I guess I won't get them as a sponsor anytime soon. This rigorous buy-in program was built on optimistic EV sales forecasts that dealers would make back their investment as electric car popularity increased, but a lot has changed in the EV market since the fall of 2022, and the fall of 2022 is right, and the growth in the segment hasn't played out as Ford initially expected. It's because it was pump and dump. It was a bunch of bullshit marketing. Ford dealers are among the first to raise alarm bells about the slowdown when some stores started turning down Mustang Mach-E allocations last summer. Later, dealers started reporting issues with F-150 Lightning demand, further eroding Ford's relationship with its dealers. And the F-150, I think, is just as bad as the Mach-E. You try and carry anything in an EV worth truck related, like power, torque, etc., carrying capacity, and you're going to be dropping the efficiency, the capability of that battery down to like maybe 10%, 20%. It just drains so fast, particularly if you're hauling anything. So if you're looking for, to I don't know what. If you're looking to just sit there and flash that you've got an F-150 Lightning, that's one thing, right? Go and pick up the kids and drop them off and that kind of a thing. But if you want to haul shit, you don't get an F-150 Lightning. It's just not going to work. Same thing with the Rivian, based on all of the tests that I saw people doing, because I don't own either one of these because I won't lean into an EV. Hybrid, yeah, sure. Even before this slowdown in EV sales, many Ford dealers were unhappy with the high price of entry in selling electric vehicles. And they're already starting to reduce prices, but they're still really expensive. And it's counting. A lot of people are counting on government and state rebates, dropping a $45,000, $50,000 car down into the high 30s, low 40s, which I think is still kind of outrageous. I don't think anybody should even have to own the battery because it's a consumable, just like gas, and is absurd. At some point, you're going to have to replace that battery in its lifetime unless you replace the car in 5 years. And then it's somebody else's problem and your car is devalued. Along with other garbage. Just look at what's going on with the Cybertruck and other other EVs. They don't hold their value. And they don't hold a charge. That's actually kind of apropos. EVs don't hold a charge or value. Anyway, as of December last year, a little more than half of Ford's nearly 3,000 U.S. dealers had opted out of the EV investment requirements, an early sign that the program had backfired. Yeah, this exclusivity garbage. Anyway, yeah, and this is just this is foretelling the future just a little bit. What's going to end up happening more and more? People are going to realize that they just can't sit there and drive an EV. That the EV is a burden on anybody that wants to get shit done. All right. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. NASA said it accidentally broadcast an ISS distress message. I guess this is like the Hawaii thing. Oops, sorry about that. Yesterday, the 12th, a NASA live stream falsely indicated that an ISS astronaut was experiencing decompression sickness, which depending on the intensity of it, can be very significantly a potentially life-threatening condition ahead of a scheduled spacewalk. Passant Rabi over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. The deck statement says the space agency was running through simulations for a spacewalk, which was later postponed. Not sure if that was related to this, if it was an actual accident, or if somebody was saying that there was something wrong with their suit, because they said that it was uncomfortable, as the first article mentions. But NASA broadcast an emergency situation on board the ISS on Wednesday at 6:32 p.m. with a voice from ground control asking to put an unnamed commander in his spacesuit for hypobaric treatment after being exposed to increased pressure. Hundreds of people were tuning in to the live stream, and the audio led them to believe that an astronaut was in critical condition. The hypobaric exposure is the big problem, and given his exam, I am concerned that there are some severe DCS hits. I would recommend trying to get him in his suit as soon as possible and giving oxygen as best as able during that process. So, about an hour later, the space agency clarified that there was no emergency. Instead, the aired audio was from a simulation channel on the ground, indicating a crew member was experiencing effects related to decompression sickness. And having witnessed people that have gotten DCS, one time it happened right next to me on a plane. I'm a scuba diver, and a person next to me was a scuba diver as well, apparently, and did a whole bunch of drinking and diving right before a flight, and then experienced DCS on the plane, collapsed right next to me. It's extraordinarily painful, and you kind of lose your faculties. So eventually they lowered the plane altitude and did something else. I'm not sure exactly what it was, because I'm not a medical professional, and they found somebody that was a medical professional, and they worked on the person right next to me. I was in the aisle seat. It was quite fascinating. But I knew what it was, and I told the flight attendants, I guess. I don't know what the clinical term is for them. But I said, hey, based on what I see, it's DCS, and that's what the doctor said it was. When they finally attended to the person. So yeah, they were sweaty and in pain and kind of in and out of consciousness, kind of a thing. But I had asked them a couple of questions because I had seen it before. So yeah, just change the pressure, and they'll be just fine. And then they have to go through decompression stops and make sure that they don't get bubbles in their blood. Okay, let's keep going though. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Mystery hole found on Mars could be a future astronaut home. Get in your hole. Strange pits on the surface of our neighboring planet could provide shelter to astronauts from cosmic radiation, extreme temperatures, and meteorites. There is a video that actually links that talks about frozen water discovered on Mars that could fill the Red Sea. Not sure why they even have this on here, but Jess Thompson is the reporter that wrote this article for Newsweek.com. And apparently it's a black hole here on the surface, but who knows what's really in there. This thing could be a contrast issue. The pit, which is only a few feet across, is located on the slopes of Martian volcano Arzia Mons, and is one of many such holes on the planet that may lead to larger underground caverns. These things also exist on the moon, apparently. These pits could therefore possibly provide protection from the planet's high radiation levels, meteorite strikes, and extreme temperatures, making them suitable for human habitation. Or they're the holes for worms, and this is Dune. Maybe not. It's one of many found on the flanks of Tharsis region's 3 large volcanoes. Who knows what's inside that hole? It'd be interesting to go there and see. Send a drone. Mars lacks a global magnetic field and has thin atmosphere, offering little protection from space radiation and aliens. Why not say just radiation? Space radiation? Which is between 40 and 50 times higher than on Earth, posing significant risk to human health. That's why they have special masks and suits and water cooling suits, because in zero atmosphere, there's no radiation of your heat. So you basically just overheat and or freeze, depending on where the sun is. Yeah. So on Earth, the lava tubes can be large enough to walk around in, but they can also be small, or voids can be discrete or discontinuous. I would say discontiguous. So these pits could open up to larger caves. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. There could be anything inside this. Pretty cool. I dig that. To me, it looks like it's a shadow, but then again, I'm not the subject matter expert. It says, unfortunately, there is a limit to the angle that we can get from orbit to look into these pits. So sometimes we can see walls and sometimes we can't. There are missions proposed to essentially have a robot go on a line and drop down into one of these skylights and be able to explore what's inside them. That would be spectacular. I'm all for it. That's what we should be funding. Let's keep going. Next article is over on ohmTown Daily. A couple headed to Spain on vacation was instead flown 1,500 miles away to Eastern Europe. Yeah, Spain said, sorry, we're full. A British couple headed to Spain ended up in Lithuania due to an airport error. The couple with disabilities booked special assistance and were put on the wrong plane. They told BBC News that the incident left them distraught and scared. A British couple who booked a flight to Spain ended up in a different European country after airport staff escorted them onto the wrong plane. Sued. Let's see, Andrew and Victoria Gore, both 47, from BBC, or told BBC News that they had intended to board a flight to Barcelona and or with the budget airline Ryanair as part of the package. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, you can book a flight, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it, right? I mean, that's like Ryanair's flight package agreement says that, doesn't it? So, Michaela Friel over at businessinsider.com put the article together. Here's Ryanair trying to take off with their brakes on. No, I'm sure that it's landing, but whatever. It's funnier the other way. And let's see, they booked the trip with their family to celebrate Andrew's birthday. And, well, they got an extra trip out of it, right? They got to go see Lithuania, and then they're going to be back in England, and then maybe back to Barcelona. Bristol's airport website says that special assistance can be booked by passengers who have mobility issues or hidden disabilities to help with check-in, getting through security, and boarding the plane. It is facilitated through the airport's service partner, ABM. The website states, we have been away lots of times and always had special assistance. So this was nothing new to us. The minibus took us to the Ryanair plane. They checked out our boarding pass, let us on the plane. They didn't realize there had been a mix-up until they arrived at Kaunas Airport in Lithuania. Wow. So let's see. The couple said the airline provided them with an overnight accommodation and transportation to Riga, the capital of neighboring Latvia, where they could board a flight the following day. However, their bags didn't arrive in Barcelona until 2 days later. Yeah. What a show. They said it's being investigated. The Bristol airport told Business Insider that the situation is being investigated, and the couple will be contacted to direct their complaint to the correct business partner for resolution. Yeah, the correct business partner is your airline. It doesn't matter what ABM did, other than they should be lit up as well. You should have liability. It shouldn't transfer over to your partner. I've been told that before, like something has happened and they're like, well, it's their problem, not ours. And I'm like, no, you're the prime. You're the primary contractor. It's your problem. I go after you, and then you can go after the dipshits that broke everything. But yeah. That reminds me. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. This new Lexus SUV comes with a pizza oven in it. A partnership between luxury appliance maker Monogram and Lexus has resulted in a very unique vehicle for foodies. Well, pizza foodies. Okay, the video that's attached to this over at Newsweek is just introducing the 2024 Lexus GX. So, unless this vehicle is a Lexus GX, I don't know why. Anyway, and why would you do that? Oh yeah, it is a GX. So the Monogram GX puts an entirely new spin on the road trip experience with a crafted culinary journey. The vehicle was created when the car brand, the luxury arm of Toyota, consulted with Monogram's creative direction, maybe director. I guess it's everything. There's an and. Creative direction, Richard T. Anuskowitz, and the company's industrial design team. Sure. Instead of simply adding pieces to the SUV, Anuskowitz worked to elevate the model. And so it actually has a pizza oven. I don't know. I mean, it looks like a classy oven, but wow. Open trunk with installed pizza oven in the Lexus Monogram GX SUV. Has a pizza peel and everything in the doors. But the oven itself takes up the back, so you won't be able to look out of it, which might be apropos for a Lexus GX driver. The transformation is done by Complete Customs in Dallas, Texas. Or in the Dallas, Texas area, I guess. They don't have one spot, I guess. Monogram equipment added to the vehicle includes a handcrafted 30-inch smart flush hearth oven that runs on electricity and a forge-heated ice press that is the first of its kind in the U.S. Chef's kiss. There is more. There's many more pictures. It's a good-looking car, I'd say. Leather-wrapped everything. And I'm sure you would sit in it and... oh, it's ruggedized too. Jeez. Yeah, the Monogram GX. I wonder how much it says. This model is a special project and won't be coming to market. So, do they say how much this thing cost? I'd say close to $200,000. Because all of the babysitting you have to do, custom work. All right, let's keep going. The next article is apparently about beer bottles in Methany in Florida. It's over in the Mobile Channel. Florida has a beach sand shortage. Could beer bottles be part of the solution? Florida's coastal counties spent millions trucking in sand to preserve the eroding beachfront. But what if a cheaper possible solution? How about what if a cheaper solution was possible and could be found in the garbage and recycling bins of Miami bars? That's right. Glass bottles. What we don't want on the beach, we're going to probably put on the beach. Let's see. Ashley Miznazi from Miami Herald put the article together, but it's published at phys.org, and I'm sure Miami Herald has it too. So glass is made from sand, so what about doing the reverse? Paulo Barranco thinks such a new source of soft, precious stuff could be an attractive, environmentally friendly option in a state with a shortage of quality beach sand. It'll get moved. Erosion will move this stuff down the beach anyway, just because it might be perceived as a little heavier. Are you kidding me? Our company operates out of a small warehouse in the Hammocks neighborhood in southwest Miami, so far using just one professional glass pulverizer, no bigger than an office copying machine. The machine is simple to use. It has a hole you stick bottles in, a series of powerful hammers and grinders, and a spout that spews out the resulting sand. The team operates the bottles by color, and only one bottle can be recycled at a time. The machine separates chunks too big to crush, but sometimes someone has to manually sift through the labels and bottle caps. Each bottle makes a handful of sand in seconds, and in half an hour, someone could probably push about 100 bottles through the pulverizing machine. Enough for a sandbag, but not enough to make a difference on the beach. This is more like a marketing effort for this company than it is for a solution for beach erosion. Because water is going to, ocean water waves are going to just erode the hell out of that and push glass sand beach. So there are many places that have what amounts to glass for beach sand. Because it's nothing more than sand. It's just been glassified. It's been heated up and turned into glass. But there are other places that have minerals and stuff that are glass-like. Anyway, that stuff gets moved down the beach wherever it's going to get pushed anyway, because there isn't anything stopping it. The only way you can stop it is to completely block off in large swaths rows of like strips, right? And to prevent little alcoves to prevent the beach sand from washing down stream, essentially down the beach. And then a storm will come along and wipe all of that out. And then the next storm, a big, huge storm, will pull a whole bunch of sand up and deposit it back. I've watched beach houses disappear and then the beach come back the next season. This, I think, is silly. According to Florida Department of Environmental Protection 2020 report, the South Florida falls far short of the national figure, which with only 7% of the glass in Miami-Dade County being recycled. This is more about recycling than it is about putting it on the beach, and it's more about that company than it is about saving beaches. The idea from the company actually emerged from Glass for Life's sister company, Compost for Life, that is founded by Francisco Torres. Last summer, it rained a lot, and Torres and Barranco needed help, or HIP, draining their compost. Mixing in glass pieces added stability and ventilation to the compost, which I don't think that's... I'd have to go and look into this. And it changes the nature of compost. You end up with glass beads, microparticles in your compost. I'd have to look at that. Right now, they don't have a process to separate out the polymers and tint that contaminate the glass. In the near future, they're hoping to work with researchers to test out their product and its safety on the ecosystem, animals, and marine life. Yeah, I don't think that this would be wise to do, because you're going to end up with glass in the ecosystem. Look, I know it's weathered and all of that kind of stuff, and it's not going to be sharp and cut up people, but it's still it's different than the sand itself. It's going to erode different. Plus, glass can be recycled indefinitely. You have to scrape all of the stickers off. Don't be a dumbass. Just scrape the stickers off and then recycle that. Don't sit there and break it up and then pour it on a beach somewhere. Anyway, the next article is over in ohmTown Daily. A real estate investor was fined $180,000 for running an Airbnb, yet they say the tenant is to blame for renting it out. A real estate investor was fined $180,000 by the city of Las Vegas for running an illegal Airbnb. Oregon engineer Shin Tao said he bought the house as an investment property to rent out longer term. Tao said that the tenant had rented it out as an Airbnb, and the city didn't say daily fines were adding up. In November, the city issued a $180,000 fine against the homeowner, who officials say ran an unauthorized Airbnb near the Las Vegas Strip. It wasn't me. Dan Latu over at BusinessInsider.com put the article together. Pretty much, it's exactly what I said, and there isn't much more to it. If you want to know more, stick around. So, if you are still with me here, and you type in ODNS into the chat, it will spit out all of today's articles Apparently not in the order that we're talking about them, but they're there. Hey. And the show notes over on YouTube afterward will be there. Because I take each show and I move it over to YouTube, even though I'm live streaming to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I think I've got... Yeah, okay. So everything is streaming, right? But if you want to get to the show notes for our other shows, you can hit !show notes, and that'll give you the commands for all of the shows. If you want the podcast, you hit !podcast or pod, and it'll list all of the podcasts. So this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have 3 extra shows each day, as well as ohmTown Daily News Show. It's in the name, it's a daily. So we have ohmTown Daily News Show, Reality Hacker, Wanted, Warcrafters, The Continuity Report, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech. Those 7 shows take place on Saturday and Sunday. And ohmTown Daily News Show takes place before each set of 3. So on Saturday is Reality Hacker, Wanted, and Warcrafters. And on Sunday is The Continuity Report, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech. Ta-da! All right, folks. Well, this article about the real estate investor who got fined $180,000 purchased the 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom property in Vegas for $378,000. They're an engineer who lives in Oregon full-time, said he bought the house as an investment property. While he did initially consider listing it on Airbnb, he added that he abandoned the plan when he signed a lease with a long-term tenant in September of 2021, and Business Insider viewed a copy of the lease. Shortly after, multiple neighbors called the city with complaints about the property, complaining about an overflow of cars parked in the driveway and that activity at the house regularly disturbs neighbors, according to enforcement logs from the city of Las Vegas. Nobody contacted the actual owner of the property. Tao was issued $2,132 in fines from the February 2022 incident and $500 a day for 4 days that the alleged Airbnb guest said that they were staying in the home, plus additional fees according to city records. And I guess that just kind of blew up. Stuck to the window was a fine for $180,000 because the tenant vacated the property in September 2023 and a cleaner was sent to the premises to tidy up. I guess that fine was stuck to the window. Nobody apparently contacted the owner, which would have been on the paperwork. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. This would probably be a lawsuit to wipe that out. He added that the current fine would have devastating effects on his family. Yeah, no shit. Yeah. I would say that he continued to fight the fine, saying that was partly because the city didn't notify him properly, that charges continued to accrue. If he was ever notified of anything, then yeah. This is silly. It's kind of like looking at the technology to verify that the violation took place, but there's a problem with the technology, and that's certainly this. Somebody should have notified. There should have been a conclusive way to verify that the person was receiving notice, which is exactly what you do. I've actually been hired to do exactly that. So you hire somebody to go and serve them. Hey, you are being fined. You are on, here's notice. Dunk. You have a pending fine. You have additional, what I don't even need to know. You just say here. And then I'm the witness that testifies that I notified the person on this date, and this is who I handed it to, etc. And you're done. Anyway, let's keep going. The last article is over on the Mobile Channel. Whatever Spielberg's mystery sci-fi blockbuster is, it's got Emily Blunt in it. So let's be blunt about this. Name any genre, and chances are Emily Blunt has it on her resume. Horror, action, rom-com, thriller, mystery, musical, historical drama, and not only that, the movies she stars in overwhelmingly tend to be blockbusters. One arena she specially succeeded in is science fiction, and now that the star is joining one of sci-fi's blockbuster directors, Steven Spielberg's mystery sci-fi blockbuster. Nobody knows what it is, apparently, except the people on the inside. But the star of Oppenheimer, Edge of Tomorrow, Jungle Cruise, A Quiet Place, and many more will bring her versatile talents to the summer 2026 release. 2026, it's 2 years from now, and people are talking about it. So much could change. Oh my God. Cheryl Eddy over at gizmodo.com put the article together. And let's see, UFO. Oh, wait. Let's see. The trade writes that the project is described as a two-hander, so Blunt would be playing one of the leads. When the release date for the as-yet unnamed film was revealed last month, Variety described it as a new original event film and theorized that it could be the UFO story the Megawatt director was known to be working on, apparently. UFOs, you say? Blunt's battled militaristic aliens in Edge of Tomorrow. Not to mention aliens with violently overdeveloped hearing in Quiet Place. Didn't really fight those. Well equipped to face any sort of invasion or close encounter, the director of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, War of the Worlds, just to name a few, can throw at her. Dun dun dun. There's a little more over here at this article at Gizmodo, but that's it. New movie. Pretty cool. I don't know. I like all of these things, but I don't know, leaning on the same. I want more people. I want more actors in the channel. Newer stuff, newer stories, compelling things. It's a safe bet with Emily Blunt. But I suppose if they can change up the character and it's not just the same thing, then so be it. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it'll be highlighted on the continuity report. Seems like a fun gig to do there. Okay, well, anyway, we are done, and the time machine is pretty warm, so I'm going to have to turn it off. That means I have to say bye. So see you later, everybody. We always... how would I do this one? We're going to jump in the Jungle Cruise and boat back down to from the bayou over to... it's not a bayou, though. Jungle Cruise, is it? Wait, I don't remember. Jungle Cruise. It's in the jungle. So I remember the Jungle Cruise. Where was it? Was it South America somewhere? I don't remember. Anyway, my brain isn't working. The time machine is taking its toll. We're back at the front page, though, and we're going to say see you later. Actually, see you in a few hours because we're going to do the 8 p.m. ohmTown Daily News show for June 14th in just a little bit. So be sure to follow us here on Twitch and here on YouTube, and go and download the podcast and follow us there. Subscribe to the Discord. It's in the profile. There's a Patreon too. All kinds of stuff. Thanks a lot. Oh, and be sure to go over to ohmTown.com, become a citizen. That's where all of the news gets aggregated from, and you can submit articles right there. Submit citizen news. You can actually let us know about news that you think is interesting in the news for each day, and each day covers just 24 hours of news, except for the weekly shows, which cover, obviously, all the period from the moment before the last show all the way up until an hour before the next show for our weekly ones. Okay, that's it. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.